YouTubers? Rich from 2RC Productions here, and we're here with another Tamiya kit to unbox. And this is the Grasshopper re-release. There's a story behind all these vintage kits for me. Some more than others. Some people had, some I had, some I've never seen back in the day outside of the box, other than in the box on the shelf going into stores. I've talked before, going to the hobby shop with my dad was a pretty much a weekly thing to go pick up accessories. My dad was into trains. He'd pick up parts for trains or model kits, and we would walk through the hobby shop, and I have vivid memories of all these Tamiya boxes being up on the shelf, and as the popularity grew within these models, there was more and more kits available. Now, back in my neighborhood when I was growing up, you could almost judge how much money the kids had or how wealthy their families were by the type of Tamiya kit that they got. And in the area where I grew up, a lot of kids had these. It wasn't like, I had one and then another guy and nobody else had them. There was a lot of kids that I went to school with that had them. But there was different levels. If you were a real rich kid, you had a Tamiya Hotshot. If you were middle of the road, a little bit more money, you maybe had a Frog. Maybe you had an RC-10. Team Associated was a big one. The RC-10 buggy, that was an expensive one. And then it went down the line. And the Grasshopper was the entry level, get you into the hobby car. It wasn't the top of the line by any means. This one went for, if my memory serves me, back when it was new, around $75 for the kit, which back then was a lot of money. And the next step up from this was the Hornet. Well, you guys know the story with the Hornet. I'm actually going to be doing a restoration on my old Hornet. I had my original Hornet. I'm going to do a restoration this year. And I wasn't planning on doing the Grasshopper next. I was actually going to do the Hornet next. I happened to go into the hobby shop looking to buy a radio for the Unimog, and there was one of these on the shelf, so I ended up grabbing it because this is one on my list. I had one buddy that had this car when I was a kid that was in my circles that we used to run with. It's a great car, great looking car. I love the chassis design, obviously, because it's the same one as the Hornet. And this was the starter model. Now, going from this to the Hornet meant upgraded front suspension. There were spacers in here on the Hornet that made this a little bit stiffer and kind of held, there was cups that held these springs together. Rear was a swing axle option with oil-filled shocks on the Hornet. The Hornet came with spike tires, where the Grasshopper came with rib sand tires. And the Hornet had a polycarbonate body, and the Grasshopper had an ABS body. Grasshopper came with an RS-380 motor, which is the small can motor, a lot less power. And the Hornet came with the RS-540. So when it come time for me to finally get one after looking at my Hornet pictures of it for about a year and a half, we opted to go with the Hornet. I put money in it. My dad helped me out. We went and got the Hornet because my dad thought it would be a better move because you had the bigger motor, you had the oil shocks, you had quite a few options on the Hornet that the Grasshopper didn't have for not that much more money. I want to say it was $20 more for the Hornet at that time. So it was almost a no-brainer to go with the Hornet for the value. But in my opinion, I was always more fond of the Grasshopper body than the Hornet body. I liked the Hornet body, but the Grasshopper body was cool. It was ABS, first of all, really detailed, nice body, that, and the decals and everything looked good. Like I said, there was a friend of mine that had one. He used to get mad because we used to call it the gas popper instead of the Grasshopper, so he used to get mad at us. But Grasshopper, really cool vehicle here from Tamiya, one that I did not have when I was a kid, and now I am able to get it again, like the Blackfoot, like the Lunchbox. There's so many cool cars that Tamiya has brought back to give us the option to buy them over, and this just does not happen. I've covered this many times, but for those of you that maybe you're watching this video for the first time, you've never seen a 2RC Productions video. It is absolutely amazing that a company like Tamiya can go and reproduce all these models from 30 plus years ago and give us an opportunity to relive a portion of our childhood. Maybe you knew nothing of these when you were a kid and now you bought one for the first time, or maybe you were like myself and many others where this was a huge part of your childhood life, seeing these models come out and the hype and the people in the neighborhood, kids running them, and racing was big back then. So very, very cool. So I'm going to get to unwrapping the cellophane here, and I'm going to give you a look at what's inside the box. Alright, so I got the cellophane off the box, and the Tamiya boxes are just so cool. The artwork on all of them were just awesome. I actually save all my Tamiya boxes, and I have an extensive list of these kits that I'm chipping away at. And if when I get all the ones that I have on my list, I'm probably going to be about anywhere from 15 to 18 Tamiya kits alone, not including the rest of my RC collection. So I said earlier in the year that I was going to chip away at these, and that's what my plan is. The next one I want to get, like I said, is the Hornet, and then we'll see how things go, and maybe get another one, maybe Subaru Brad or something before the end of the year. That's another one I want. But anyway, we savor the Tamiya Smell. And those of you that don't know what the Tamiya Smell is, there is an amazing mixture of plastic and rubber components in these boxes that are trapped in that cellophane. And when you first pull the box off, you get that smell of the rubber and plastic smell, and it dates back to being a kid, and anybody that's ever built one of these or now or when they were little knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to pull this off, and I am going to get my fresh whiff of new Tamiya product underneath here, if I can get the box open. Here we go. They got a lot, see, they're airtight. They make them airtight so we get to smell that and it doesn't escape. Wow, is that a tight box? It's coming, I promise you, it's coming off. There we go. Oh man, awesome, awesome stuff. Oops, just dropped my water on the ground. Got so excited I dropped my water. The very cool thing about opening this box is, I mean, all the Tamiya kits are cool, but again, this is very, very similar to my Hornet. It's got the real small tires, you know, the Hornet 3-piece wheels. This is exact same chassis as the Hornet. So the last time, technically, that I opened a box like this with these components, with the gearbox half, with these tires and wheels and the chassis, was back in 1986 when I opened my Hornet. And when I opened the new Hornet box, that's really going to be cool, because I'm going to take my old Hornet that needs some work and add some of the new parts to the Hornet from the new kit and bring my Hornet back to like brand new quality. But that's another story for another video. So what we got here, first off, is the awesome Grasshopper Body. I just love this body. I've always loved the look of this body, the decals. I'm not a big fan of the Tamiya decals, but I have to say that the Grasshopper decals and the setup with the white and the green is probably one of the most attractive combinations that they had, and cool decals and a cool style buggy body. These buggies were huge back in the day. They have the chassis combined there, the standard chassis looking good there, two pieces together. This is probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest kit that you would find to build. So if you're looking for something new and you have never built a kit before, this could definitely be your kit. See, this is what's awesome. These pictures, this picture and the picture down here running in the dirt, is exactly the same artwork that you would see back in 1984 when this came out. They reproduce everything. I want to say that the manual is completely like the old one, except for the addition of some of the hop-up parts, like the electronic ESC, for instance. Back in the day, they had the mechanical speed controllers, and they had a 2-servo system. You had a servo for steering, and you had a servo for throttle. So now in the manual, obviously, it's going to show one less servo, and it's going to show the use of an ESC instead of a mechanical speed controller. But pretty much everything else is exactly the same. I noticed a few of the decals have changed. These used to be KC daylighters, I believe. They changed them to bright lights or whatever. There's a couple decals different. Probably for licensing over the years. Maybe brings it to us a little bit cheaper by not having the licensing, which is fine. We got our servo saver tree. We got our front. Sorry for the break in the video, YouTubers. My card was full. Every once in a while I make that mistake and I forget to clear out my card and then the video cut off. So we were talking about servo savers, suspension parts, front suspension arms, same as the lunchbox. They borrow a lot of the same parts. The gearbox is very similar in a Hornet Grasshopper. We got the tires here. I'm going to crack this open so I can get a little more of that rubber smell. Oh yeah. So anyway, these are the old school. You can see the size of these tires, how tiny they are. And back when I was a kid, they seemed like they were big tires. They seem to be big tires. But now with all the, you know, the 2.2s, the 2.8s, all these big, huge, humongous crawler tires and monster truck tires that you have out now, these seem extremely small. But these are the old school sand paddle tires. Yeah, they say paddle a track on them. Sand tires unlimited. Same stuff like back in the day. So you get the two rears and then you get the two front ribs, which give you real excellent cornering. And these sand tires and the spike tires on the Hornet work really well in dirt and sand. They give you really good traction. So old school tires, very cool. Again, reminded me of my childhood. We got the side arms, protector arms for the side of the chassis, in case you think you get a side impact like a Nerf bar. You got your detailed driver figure there with helmet and everything. And back when I was a kid, I didn't have quite the modeling abilities. I used to build model kits and stuff like that, and I did painting and stuff, but I didn't have the skill set that I have now. Obviously, over years and years of building and doing things, you get better and better as time goes on. So my guys were never that detailed, usually just one color, or kind of sloppy looking. So I'm really going to do this up nice, do the guy figure up real nice, going to do the body up nice. I did buy a color, and I might do a couple colors on this, maybe a little bit of striping, I'm not really sure. But definitely going to change it up a little bit, but not too much. There's the rims, the old school 3-piece rims with the tiny 5 bolts with the nuts that go in the back. So that's cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to paint them or not. The problem with painting these wheels is you can see how shallow the tire is and the rim fits inside there. They usually always end up getting banged up, depending on how much you drive it. Now, the amount of driving that I'm doing, most of these Tamiya kits that I'm building are not built to be bashers. The ones that I'm buying vintage are ones that I'm going to keep. They're going to stay in my collection, and they are going to stay in excellent condition. A lot of them I have a lot of work and detail and painting and stuff, and I'm not taking them out to beat them up and destroy them. I had a Wild Willie that I got rid of, and I regret getting rid of that. I had a Wild Willie 1, the original one. I regret getting rid of that, and I will never get rid of any of my Tamiya cars that I have. My Tamiya vehicles that I'm building will stay with me forever, and they will be passed on to my kids when I'm not here anymore. So, next tree, gearbox halves, hubs. I mean, there's really not many parts to this Grasshopper. If I wanted to get on this, I probably could build this in a couple hours tonight and have this thing totally complete. But I'm going to take my time with it and enjoy it. The old sticker sheet here. I love this stickers combination. I'm not sure about the stripes. The problem with the stripes, with these big bulky stripe stickers, is they have a tendency to not lay out really easy. They're tough to get on there and line them up. And over the years, I've seen many of these vehicles with decals, not just the Grasshopper, but all different ones. And what ends up happening is they get chewed up, they get done, scratched, they start to peel, there's bubbles in there, and then over time they start to look garbage. They start to look garbagey and not the look that I'm going for. So I usually don't roll with these big long stripes, or like we just finished a Blackfoot. I just finished doing that. I didn't put the billboard stickers on there. Generally, if I want striping like this, I will duplicate it in paint. I don't know if I'm going to do the stripes. I might do multicolor, but I'm definitely going to be using the Grasshopper Racing Team and the numbers and all that stuff because I love the look of that. And then we got our box here. we got our box, and I'll show you the difference between the 380 motor and what you're looking at. Differences. The suspension on the Hornet is definitely much more plush than the Grasshopper. The Grasshopper rear coils are really stiff. They don't allow a ton of dampening. Here is the front bumper, the good old Tamiya front bumper. Gotta love that. On the buggies, it looks awesome. On the bigger trucks, the Lunchbox Blackfoot, I opted to not use it. Here's all our crucial parts. Screw bags. Let's see, we got A, we got B, and we got C. So we only got 3 bags. Very easy gearbox to put together. Very minimal parts. This is definitely the kit for a beginner, someone that has never built one. The gearbox, I love the way the gearbox goes together. The Lunchbox is the same. The Unimog 406, the CWO1 chassis, Lunchbox, Unimog wheelie, Hornet, Grasshopper. They're all basically the same gear sets. I love the way they go together, really nice. The Blackfoot and the Frog Subaru Brat gearbox was kind of a pain in the butt. They give you the old brass bushing, the one brass bushing, and series of plastic bushings, which I will be replacing because I always keep a little stack of actual ball bearings, seal ball bearings. So I'll be putting those in there, and these will go in my parts bin. So you see what we have here, not that many parts at all. It's going to be a fun, real easy build, and plus I'm very familiar with this car because growing up I've taken my Hornet apart many, many times. So it's going to be easy build. Here's the 380 motor. I want to give you a look at this. Now when you see 380 motors in a lot of 18th scale vehicles and the way they're geared and battery power and stuff like that, they run really good. They're fast. I mean, you get a lot of these 18ths out of the box with 380 motors that are running 20 miles an hour, which is quick. Back in the day when you had my Hornet, I remember I got clocked with a 7-cell with a stock motor at like 24 miles an hour by a cop in the neighborhood when I was growing up with the radar gun. Putting a 380 in this 110 scale car, I mean, you're lucky to get maybe 12 miles an hour, maybe 10, 12 miles an hour. A lot of real small pinion gear, a lot of punch right off the line. You can get the tires to spin. You can have fun with it off-roading, but top end is really, really terrible. But what we used to do back in the day, because we had, when I was growing up, what we had was a 1200 milliamp Tamiya hump pack was the first ones that came out. They were hard case batteries, 6-cell, 7.2, 1200 milliamp. So 1200 milliamp, doesn't get you that far, and you put a 540 motor in there, and or a beefed up motor, and your run times are pretty minimal. Maybe 8-10 minutes, you'd have on a run. So every once in a while, if we were going out for a long run and we wanted to run, we'd throw a 380 on there. You get a half hour, 35 minutes on a charge, and that was fantastic back then. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use the 380 motor in the Grasshopper. If I want to make it really nostalgic, I might roll with the 380, but I'll show you a 540 that normally would come with this. This would be your RS 540 can application in a Hornet. And you can see the size difference. I mean, very, very different. A lot more power out of the 540. You're talking, 10, 12 miles an hour to 20 plus mile an hour. So it's a big, big jump. And that was one of the deciding factors, like I said, when I was a kid, of jumping. If the motor was $20 and you got the motor and the oil-filled shocks and the better suspension and all that for an extra $20 at the initial buy, that's why my dad was for it, because it was definitely a value. So that's about it, guys. That's what we got here for the Grasshopper. I'm really excited to build this, like all my Tamiya vehicles, and I just love the Tamiya kits. I love a lot of different brands of cars and that, but what ends up happening with these things is you don't do a build for a while, and you kind of, put it off and you do other things, and then all of a sudden you do a kit, and then you get hooked again, and you build one, and then you want to build another one. I just built the Blackfoot, finished that like, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and then I went right to the Unimog. I had the Unimog sitting for like 10 months here, and I didn't do anything with it, just the body. I finished that up last week, and now I wanted to grab the Grasshopper, and I'm going to get going on this one in the next week in my spare time. So, alright guys, till next time, Rich from 2RC Productions here. I know it's a pretty long video for you of the unboxing, but I know a lot of people are interested in these old Tamiya vintage kits, and I'd like to be as thorough as possible. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for the continued support. At the time of this video, we're at 1,725 subscribers, which is amazing, and I appreciate it. And please thumbs up the video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. There's a lot of material going to be coming up, a lot of new kits we're going to be doing, ready to runs, new releases. Got a whole bunch of stuff planned. I got a giveaway coming at 2,000 subs. 2,000 subs is right around the corner. And we're going to have a giveaway, and then probably another little, probably 2 giveaways. A normal giveaway, a general giveaway, raffle type thing, and then I got a special giveaway that's going to be going out to a certain special person that's been around my channel for some time, always commenting and watching everything. So I got something special planned for him, and that's a surprise, so I'm not mentioning any names who that is. But anyway, I'm rambling on here. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Rich here, signing out.